It's been a while since I've done a garden walkthrough, and it's early September and the garden is quite magical right now. So come hang out with me as we walk through this garden. Right as you walk into my garden, you are greeted by the long beans. These are just magical beans that are hanging on my arch trellis, and this really gives the fairy tale vibe. Through the tunnel we can see the asparagus fern that has grown and has a lovely sparkling of raindrops on them. Another arch trellis with Cherokee Trail of Tear beans. And this view is fennel and my very tall corn. This is my circle garden where I have sweet potatoes growing down low. I have zinnias and sunflowers all over the place, and an obelisk here in the middle with a flower that the hummingbirds absolutely adore. My ground cherry plants are producing like crazy. My spring brassicas have gotten eaten up. The broccoli here never did create a head, nor did they flower. So I'm really not sure what's happening with the broccoli, but I have left it in this space. I am happy to report I'm finally seeing some Brussels sprout action. I have never been able to successfully grow Brussels sprouts. Will this be the year? In this bed I have flowers, zinnias, basil. I did have potatoes all growing in here, which I have since harvested, and I threw down some more lettuce seeds to see if those will grow for fall. On this trellis I have more of these little orange flowers. I believe they're called a cardinal climber. And then I had a volunteer birdhouse gourd plant decide to make its way on this trellis, which I'm pretty excited about. Here's some fall planting of peas, and oh, spotted my first pod. This is such a wild, crazy space. Look at this cute sunflower. You can see just how tall my corn is. I'm 5'10", and I'm guessing this is about 10 to 12 feet high. I have some rutabaga and kale plants, seedlings in here for fall. This area of corn looks a little rough. My dogs keep running through here and knocking things down. My greenhouse garden has been doing great. I grow tomatoes and peppers in here. You can see this tomato plant found a crack and made its way out, but lots of tomatoes, and I just picked my first big harvest of peppers today. But these tomatoes will last a lot longer in here because they are protected from the rain. In this bed I have more carrots growing for fall, but over here are the carrots that I planted this spring, and we have been harvesting them. Look at that. These are my outdoor pepper plants. Beets are in here and radishes. Here are the cabbages that I harvested couple weeks ago, and all the small offshoots that these are reproducing, and then in between these rows are beets for fall. This whole area are all of my greens that I planted early spring. I have chard and kale, lots of amaranth, celery, fall planting of corn, more radishes, and rutabagas. Down these rows were my outdoor tomato plants, and I actually just pulled everything out this week because the plants were done and I was done harvesting all of them tomatoes. But I did still leave up the cherry tomato plants because they are still producing. Even though the plants don't look great, there's lots of nice green fruit and still lots of yummy ripe ones left. This one's called the Sun Gold Select. So sweet. Here are all my chickens, not so little anymore, and my old ladies. In this patch were red potatoes that my son and I just harvested over the weekend. And these two beds are for more fall planting. These are bok choy, more broccoli plants, lettuce. I heavily sowed these areas so that I could transplant those seedlings out into other areas of my garden once I was pulling other things out, and now that it finally rained, I feel good to transplant some of those. But she sure is beautiful. Your garden can change so fast, so make sure you're taking pictures and videos and looking back at where you started, because before you know it, you're in a gorgeous, beautiful space full of lush greenery, color, and lots of food. And it's almost sad to think that in about a month from now, all of this is gonna turn brown and soon go to sleep. But I am happy to say it has been another successful garden season. And before you know it, we'll be planning for next year. Follow me on YouTube at Bloom and Wilt Gardens for all my garden updates and videos.